Yo, what's up, internet? It's RJ with Road to Liberty. Today, I am doing a video about Pokemon Go and the liberty, freedom implications of the game. So check it out. The main theme is stop your worrying and get out there and catch Pokemon. Got me? No, check it out. I'm going to cover the 5 or 6 main reasons because they get a little redundant, but I'm going to really break it down into 6 areas of how and why people are against Pokemon Go. Mostly people who have political, libertarian, or even, I think, regular population of people just writ large have a lot of these concerns. So these are the 6 main reasons why people are against Pokemon Go, and I'm going to tell you why each one is baloney. All right, check it out. First of all, number 1, it's simple-minded. Okay, so is a lot of things. So is picking flowers. So is coloring in a coloring book. So is talking on the phone and watching Netflix. So is watching undergroundhiphop.com and watching YouTube videos about Planet X. But everyone needs to relax sometimes, lighten up, and have something fun to do. So the notion that it's simple-minded or juvenile or that only people who are 15 years old or younger can play a video game, to me, is a bunch of doo-doo. Check it out. Number 2, privacy. This is the big one, privacy. So don't you know that they're tracking you? Don't you know that they're getting access to your Google Docs? Don't you know that they're getting access to your camera and your contact list? Guess what, people? I mean, I know you know this. Most of you guys are pretty smart. That's everybody. That's every app, pretty much. That's Facebook. That's Periscope. That's Snapchat. That's Waze, your navigation. They know where you are anyway. They have access to all that stuff anyway. So, and I'm going to get back to why this whole privacy thing is also bad in number 6. Like why that's a bad reason not to play Pokemon Go, or at least live and let live. People who enjoy it, God bless, enjoy. I'm glad you found something that makes you happy, right? Number 3, sort of an extension of 2, the founder has close ties to the government. Oh, really? Does he? Well, check it out. Same can be said of Facebook and Google. Who are they? Oh, Facebook, 1 billion people in the world log into every day. Google, the most commonly used smartphone platform, is Android, which is owned by Google, which means that every person in the entire world with an Android phone is giving location data to Google, which they use to sell ads, which they probably share with government agencies, which they could be doing anything with. So if you're going to be paranoid and say, well, this guy has close ties to the government, so does Larry Page from Google, so does Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook. This is not exclusive to Pokemon Go. So that's kind of a weak ground to stand on. Also, what meaningful data can they really be giving to the state? When you walk around to catch Pokemon, you're not going where you would normally go if you weren't playing Pokemon Go. You're going where the Pokemon are. You're going to the Poke Center. It's not like, oh, I love going to this mural. Like I went to a mural today, or you look on the map and you see what's around. Okay, here's a location where I can get some Pokeballs or whatever. They're on the same street. I'm going to hit them all. It's not like, oh, now they know I like to go to the pinball parlor or the cheesesteak factory or whatever. Guess what? I didn't buy anything at those places. I didn't do business at those places. I don't frequent those places. So if anything, the data that they're collecting about where we're going playing this game is completely not useful. And then someone said, oh, well, now they have all this camera data. They have this all real-time camera data. Yeah, when you see a Pokemon, you're usually pointing down on the ground or you're pointing against a wall or something so that you could flick the ball and actually see them. If you put the Pokemon, you point it at other people who are walking by or things that are happening, it's harder to see where you're shooting. It's a distraction. So I'd say 90% of the data that people are getting from the camera is the sidewalk. Oh, big security breach. Number 4, safety. This is the most valid concern in my opinion. This is the most legitimate, reasonable critique of Pokemon Go and games like it. If you're looking down at your phone and you're walking around, or if you're doing this while driving, which I have to admit, I did try to catch a Pokemon and some Pokeballs and stuff at red lights today while I was driving, and I realized that even though I was stopped, I wasn't paying attention to my surroundings, and then when I had to go again, I wasn't as prepared. So I said, dude, don't prove these people, these crazy, worrying people right, and run somebody over because you're playing Pokemon Go. So I think that's a fair concern, and we should all be mindful, as the game warns you, be mindful of your surroundings, and don't play the game while you're driving a car, or don't walk out into the middle of traffic with your head down in your phone. Again, this same thing could be said for texting, taking selfies, periscoping. Don't blame the technology, blame the misuse of the technology by the negligent person. So it's not the gun's fault, it's the shooter's fault for shooting a person. The gun can be used for safety. The game can be used for fun, or it can be used to create an accident. Also, on a side note with the safety thing, some people have said, oh, well, little kids are jumping over fences and trespassing in people's yards. Okay, the same thing happens when you accidentally throw a football or kick a soccer ball over someone's fence. Games have been causing people to trespass, as kids especially, for a long time. So if they're jumping over your fence to catch a Pokemon, the best thing you could do is explain to them that you don't need to jump over the fence. And in fact, the likelihood that that's going to be a Pokemon over there that you need, if you can see the Pokemon on the map, you can click on it. You don't have to get closer. You don't have to go right up next to it. If you can't see what it's going to be yet, and it's just a little grass ruffling, well, it's probably going to be a Weedle or some Pokemon that everybody has, and it's not a big deal. So just stay where it's not a trespassing situation, or tell your younger brothers and sisters or whatever that you don't have to trespass you to get Pokemon. Just wait and keep walking around. You're gonna eventually run into all the Pokemon out there. Number 5, haters. Sometimes there's really no good reason for people to beef on Pokemon Go other than that they're kind of bitter. Maybe they never were into video games. Maybe they're taking the moral high ground route and saying, oh, well, you should be doing something better with your time, or this is mindless, da-da-da. The same can be said of every single video game ever. Just because you're doing it through augmented reality and you're walking around the world, I'm going to do another video talking about all the benefits, because there's benefits. I'm talking about what the detractors are focused on today. So, but you're walking around, right? You're getting exercise. That's a good thing. So if you're taking the moral high ground saying, well, you're wasting your time and you're in your... Okay, so people have been playing PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, Genesis, go back in time, Atari. This is nothing new. People were sitting inside playing games and watching reality TV and doing all this other stuff. That's nothing new. So it's kind of an empty concern. Number 6, the government is tracking us. I kind of already touched that with the privacy one, but let's hone in on the government. If the government's really tracking you through Pokemon Go, great. God bless them. We're not going to let the terrorists win, the manipulative, controlling politicians who want to use good, positive things for evil. We're not going to let control freaks win because they have the ability to tap into some information. We got to do what we want to do. We got to let the free market decide these things. We got to express ourselves, enjoy life, and if we see a manipulation, if we see someone coming in and saying, all right, we know this guy is checking in at the Poke Center and he's got a warrant out for his arrest, and they go arrest him, then we open up that discussion. Then we start to say, is this Fourth Amendment? Is this allowable that you could track someone? That's true whether you're using Facebook or whatever. We've already touched on that. So with that being said, guys, I hit everything on my list. I want to know what you think, but to be honest, I'm still going to go out and catch some Pokemon, son. So, but if you disagree or if you think there's something I left out, feel free to leave it in the comments. And, oh, and guess what? This is not going anywhere. Adaptive reality, where you have a headset on and things are in your world that aren't really there. People are going to be walking around talking to Kim Kardashian, Justin Bieber. People are going to be fishing in rivers with no fishing pole, with no fish. This is where we're going with technology. It's exciting, it's fun, it's goofy, it's silly. There's a lot of things as a 33-year-old dude that young people do today or believe today that I can't wrap my head around, that seems weird and foreign to me. So I get it. If this is just too out there for you, maybe you're 30, maybe you're 40, maybe you're 80, and this is just something you can't relate to and it bothers you, that's okay. Be bothered. But you really should find something that makes you happy, whether it's knitting, painting, talking, playing the sousaphone. Do what you do and realize that that's what we're all doing. People who are playing Pokemon Go are just excited. I haven't played a video game in the longest time, other than like Candy Crush 5 years ago. I used to play video games all the time. So I'm excited that something from my past, which was Pokemon, I enjoyed Pokemon when I was like a teenager, is recrafted into a new way. I wish the game had more depth. I wish there was more detail and texture and richness to the experience. It's a little dumbed down, it's a little simplified, but I think it's a proof of concept, and I actually support it. So you don't have to believe what I believe. You don't have to agree with me. This is my piece, and I'm saying peace. Signing out. Thanks, y'all, for watching. Bye.